Hi, I'm Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. Tonight I have a very special show. I have Bethany Owens and Rodriquez as Rodney Dangerfield, and they have a show at the Horizon. And it's very, very good, and I had a chance to see it with my mom, and you guys were fantastic. Welcome to Nevada Trails.
Thank you, thank you. Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes. Well, how long have you been doing Rodney Dangerfield?
Well, you know, I messed around with it around the family, you know, and friends once in a while, but I just told a few jokes, and Jim, they invited me to, gave me passes actually to see their show. And I went to see the show, and afterwards I asked Bethany if I could open for her. But I hadn't had any experience, you know, I just said it, and she said, talk to my husband. And I went over and talked to Jim, and Jim got my number, and I said, well, I'll never hear from him. But 2 weeks later, you know, my wife and I, we went down to Kmart and down there, and I bought a shirt because I didn't have a white shirt, didn't have a red tie. So I bought that, and that afternoon, about 3 o'clock, Jim called, and he said, Rod, would you like to do the show?
Excellent.
And I said, yeah, when would you like me to come down and try out? He said, well, the show's tonight, be there at 7 o'clock. I said, tonight? And he said, yes. So I told my wife, I said, let's get out of here, let's go down there and rehearse, because I got to work up a routine. She thought I was kidding. Anyway, we started with that. I went down, and I've been there, it's been about 3.5 months now.
Excellent.
So that's
well, my mom had one critique of your show. She liked your jokes, but she said people were making too big of a deal about your age because she's older.
Oh.
She goes, why is that so old? It's not very old. My mom says, he's a young man compared to you. Yeah. So think positive. You were great.
Yeah, well, I probably had some respect from somebody, I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah, she wasn't giving you no respect at all for your age.
I know. No, I get no respect at all, no matter what I do.
Oh, jeez.
Even tonight when I put on my shirt, the button fell off. Picked up my briefcase, the handle fell off.
Oh, no.
Hell, I'm afraid to go to the bathroom.
Oh, jeez.
No, I tell you. No, my wife, she drives me crazy. Her cooking is the worst in the world.
No.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's such a bad cook, the flies took up my collection and fixed the screen door.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the cockroaches picked up my dental floss and hung themselves.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And my dog, he begs for Alka-Seltzer after he eats her scraps.
Oh, no.
No, I'll tell you, it's a rough life sometimes. You know, so I just enjoy doing this, and it's been fun, you know.
Well, you get some respect from your audience. I just saw a special you did at the senior center where you were changing every few minutes. It seemed like you were changing to different clothes.
Yeah, well, they had me MC the show, asked me if I could do it. I've never done that before either, but it was fun, and I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen that show yet.
Oh, it's on. It's on our site.
Well, I got to make sure I get that. I want to get a CD of it that they have.
We'll ask them to make you a copy.
Yeah, beautiful.
And you also, for your business career to survive, because most entertainers have to survive.
Right.
Is I believe you are at Mount Blue in sports.
Right. No, I work over there on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays in the sports book, and then Friday, Saturday nights I work with Bethany at the Horizon Hotel Casino, and it's been fun. I just got to say that to have two people like this take a guy like me, just saying, because I would love to do this, and they let me do it, and I just want to thank them 100 times over, because it's been a great opportunity, a great experience for me, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Well, that's fantastic, and you have a supportive wife that lets you go ahead and do this.
Yeah, she's there with me every night. Yeah.
And because I think when we saw the show, it wasn't late, but it was still like after 11 before you got to leave, I think.
Yeah. We hang out there for a while afterwards and say hello, thank the people for coming, and just hang out there for a bit. Well,
that's one reason why I like the show too. You do a meet and greet and really get to know the people that came and saw the show.
I think that's the most satisfaction is when you get done with the show, you go out, you meet the people, and the comments they make, and how thankful they are. People have told me, he says, God, you brought back so many good memories, I even had one lady write me a letter apologizing, and she said that she was really sorry. This is the way she started the letter. She said, I thought you were really Rodney Dangerfield. She says, I'm really sorry. I didn't know he was dead. But it was a beautiful letter, and I've got that. That's a prize. That's really neat.
Well, they communicate quite clearly that you're Rod Rodriguez portraying Rodney. And
right.
What I liked also is that you obviously done your homework and getting a variety of his jokes I liked.
Yeah, I have a lot of jokes, that I haven't even used in the show. But I've got a routine now that I add a few every once in a while.
I know that. I taped the show, and then I went there as a customer, and you had extra jokes when I was a customer. I thought, hey, you made it a little longer routine. I thought, kind of like that. I knew so it meant to me that you were working on it.
Yeah. That's it's hard for me particularly. I haven't been doing it that long to really change the whole routine or add too much at one time. So I add a few every week, and forget some sometimes and add some other ones,
Well, as far as finding out background speeches on him and his jokes, how you're having any hard time finding his stuff? Because he was performed for a lot of years.
Actually not. I've got a tape at home, a video of him being interviewed by Johnny Carson, and so I pick up a lot of movements and jokes from him on that. So no, it's not difficult. No, he's got a lot of jokes. You go online and pick up a lot of them too. So that was really, really fun. So yeah, I tell you. Yeah, my wife, she's standing in the back there. She's wondering, what the heck is he doing? No, but we have a good relationship with Bethany and Jim, and it's just been a lot of fun to.
Well, when you're hit a certain age where you started looking a little bit like him, did people comment, or did you already started acting like him?
No, actually, about 3 years ago, maybe longer, my wife and I went to Harris. We were having a buffet, and I was waiting for her to come from the bathroom, and I heard this woman yell, that's him, and so she sent her daughter up to me. She came up and she says, are you Rodney? And I said, sometimes people call me that. So she said, it's him. So they came running with cameras to take pictures with me. Then when my wife came out of the bathroom, they took pictures of my wife and I, thinking I was Rodney Dangerfield. I didn't want to spoil that fun, so I never said a word.
I think that's great.
So yeah, the appearance, I do have that, and in the sports book working there at the Horizon, I have people come in there sometimes and look at me and say, anybody ever tell you look like Rodney Dangerfield? I said, no, nobody ever said that.
What do you mean by that? I don't have a clue.
Yeah, I get no respect. As soon as I do that, they say, it is you.
Plays a bet or what?
Yeah. No,
well, as far as the sports book is, I went there and I don't know how to do it. I screwed up. I was trying to make a bet for somebody else. Is that something we could talk about in the future for teaching people how to do that?
Well, we have, like horse racing, we have sheets there that show the people how to bet, any bets they want to make. And as far as you deciding to make a bet, just ask me who I like. And when I tell you who I like, if you want to win, bet on the other side.
Well, I lived in Chicago when I went to a college. They had handicapping, and the students were really into going to school early, staying later. It's the best subject they ever studied in their life. And we went to the track for our final exam, so it's a lot of fun. But tell you back to Rodney, I really did enjoy your persona, your jokes, your flow. It really seems like you're comfortable up there on the stage.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I enjoy doing it, and a lot of times I get a little nervous up there, but once I get out there and get rolling, I get more comfortable. And like right now, I'm a little bit nervous, if you can tell. I don't know if you can tell or not, but anyway.
I'm terrified.
Yeah. No, we have, there's a lot of the jokes that I have told. When I was born, I really had a problem. Mm-hmm. When I was born, that's when my problems really began. I was ugly. I was an ugly baby. Yeah, I'll tell you, I was so ugly when I was born, the doctor slapped my mother. Yeah, the next day my mother made me the poster boy for birth control. Yeah, she said she didn't want to breastfeed me. She liked me as a friend. Yeah, she got morning sickness after I was born, I'll tell you. And you never know. Yeah. Yeah, my old man, he didn't like my looks either. No, he walked around the picture, the kid that came with the wallet. Yeah, when I was 3 years old, I got lost in the mall. Yeah, and I asked the security guy, I said, you think you'll ever find my parents? He says, I don't know, kid, there's so many places they could hide. Yeah, I tell you, what a life.
Well, I think you do a good job, and you gave me a business card to track you down. I was wondering if you'd like to give that out to the public, for people can call you for maybe for personal appearances or something like that.
Sure.
Go ahead and give out your email or wherever how they can contact you.
Sure, I'll give you some cards.
Well, I mean for the viewing audience right now, if you want.
Right now I'm not sure of the email. I'll give you my number.
Well, we'll put that in later. Okay. So, anyways, Rodney, thank you for being on Nevada Trails.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And we'll be back with Bethany Owens right after this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, if empty little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't
Hi, we're back with Bethany Owen, and she does 1,001 Voices and 1,001 Faces at the Horizon. And I was lucky enough to see your show with my my mom, and my mom thoroughly liked it. You even came out and did a song with her, and you're just a tremendous actress and a dancer. And where did you start getting all this experience? I mean, were you like a little girl and started mimicking voices and copying them and keep them because you're treasure chest of voices?
Well, thank you. Actually, I started as a dancer, and the dancing, you'd be in shows and directors, and they would always say, "Shut up, you're a dancer, don't sing. You're destroying the sound of the chorus." But the truth was, I always desired to learn how to sing, and the voices were sheer accident, totally. I had been in a ballet company when I was about 17.
Wow.
15 to 17, and I got some, illness. The doctors didn't know what was wrong with me, so I sort of had to make a major turning point in my life pursuits. I still wanted to be in showbiz. So I ended up choreographing for a show band. Those were the days, yeah. The show bands were bands, that were self-contained. We had 4 guys and 2 girls up front, but I was their choreographer in the beginning.
Right.
And then they began to put me in the show. I was doing doo-wops in the background. So that's kind of how I began to sing. And I only had 2 professional singing lessons in my whole life, which went very badly.
The guy couldn't sing?
Oh, he couldn't play the piano, so and it was explaining how air went through the esophagus, and do you understand? It took 15 minutes for him to explain it, and the second 15 minutes was me saying, "No, I don't understand." So he explained it again.
I thought it was like the diaphragm or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I still don't know how I produce it, but I do. So when I was with this band, you see, all the guys were older than me, and they all thought that I was inadequate for their destiny. So they would try to foul me up, and they decided that they were going to do a TV segment, and to make me really look badly on stage, I was going to do the voice of Edith Bunker.
Oh, right.
So I did, Edith Bunker. Those are the days. And it was the hit of the show. So our producer said, well, gee, if she could do that one, she should work on some more. So I began traveling the country with my record player and my three collection record, collection that consisted of Cher, Half Breed, Diana Ross, and Nancy Sinatra. So I'd work on Cher, they say we're young and we don't know. Woo! do I sound like Cher yet? And the guys were like, get out of my face, you're like really annoying. So they would say, if she could sing like Diana Ross, she would be something. So I took it literal. It was like, you want Diana Ross? I'll sing like Diana Ross. Woo! Reach out and touch somebody's hand. It was like, you want Diana Ross? I'll give you Diana Ross. So that's how all this was born. I was trying to impress my band, and there was no impressing them.
So they kept on saying different voices, and you could do them. Well, I remember as a younger person, the album from Archie Bunker's show was like the top-selling comedy album in the country. So, I mean, you're hitting on the right voice.
Yeah, well, I didn't have the album. I watched the TV, hours of watching. I'd go to the movie theater, and if it was a character that I wanted to do, I didn't even have a tape recorder back then, and I'd just sit, in the dark, watching the movie over and over and over and over till, I'd come out and feel like I sort of had the character somewhat, and it wasn't until later that I got a tape recorder. And then I'd get 2 tape recorders actually and start comparing.
Oh.
I'd hear the one and then I'd talk into the other one.
Well, was there anybody that helped you with this at all, like Rich Little or anybody that would?
I wish. Nobody.
Phyllis Diller?
No, nobody helped me.
Nobody helped you at all?
I had no clue what I was doing. I was totally
Works for me. That's what I do too.
So I come from the College of Cluelessness.
Go with your heart.
I actually met another impressionist, years later, went to his apartment. We were going to work up some routines, and I couldn't believe it. He opened his closet. It looked like my closet because there were no clothes in it. It was just all audio tapes, videotapes, just spilling out of the closet. I mean, I'm showing my age, audio tapes, but now I guess it's DVDs and CDs.
My 8-track collection will probably make you happy.
I didn't have any 8-tracks.
Oh, well, you're too young for me then. So you've been doing this a while, but I tell you, you had to grow so many more characters and more voices. You must really work on this all the time.
Yeah, now I have a real system. I don't just sit in the theater in the dark. I have notebooks. I create my own language. It's sort of like, a My Fair Lady kind of thing. I'm like, each voice is like a language, and it's a memorization process, really.
Well, when I met you earlier, you were heading out to IGT to do voices for, I think, the Beverly Hillbillies on a slot machine or something?
That was, that might be in the future. Actually, I was doing Audrey Hepburn.
Audrey Hepburn. That's awesome.
Isn't it wonderful? See what I mean? How nothing bad could happen to you in a place like this.
So you might be walking by a machine, and somebody will say that, and you'll say, is that Bethany? No, it's Audrey.
Poor cat.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yes, Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Now I got the right voice.
Yeah.
But also on that Horizon show, that's you do, 3-4 shows a week?
I do 5 shows
5
a week.
shows?
Sometimes 6. If we're doing a benefit, sometimes, it takes in that 6th day. And I do about 50 voices.
I know.
It's
beautiful, and you change and you adapt into these characters, and you go into the audience. You have audience participation.
Yes.
And everybody loves you. It's just absolutely a perfect thing to go for an event.
Thank you.
And it was. I mean, my parents loved it. My girlfriend loved it. My girlfriend's mom loved it. It was a safe thing to do for entertainment.
Well, thank you.
And you really work the audience, and then you even go out for a meet and greet afterwards.
Yes.
And you really.
Rod and I do that.
That's very, very.
And Robert Malone. We have a routine. Our maitre d' is actually a dancer and a choreographer. His name is Robert Malone. And we have a routine at the end of the show. We do a little bit of history about the great days of, the golden age of movie making. And one of my favorite films was Easter Parade.
Oh, yes.
So I do a tribute to Judy Garland, and he does a tribute to Fred Astaire in the routine, A Couple of Swells.
I was going to say that. Was that him dancing at the senior benefit?
Yes.
He did good.
Yes, Robert is amazing. So he put that choreography together for us, and it's all totally authentic. It's sliced right out of the movie. So Robert does, the little meet and greet at the end of the show with us dressed as Fred, as the tramp.
You could have been on the screen at the same time. That was how close you were. You just nailed it. It was beautiful.
Well, it's a fun routine, and I could have never done it, if he hadn't stepped in and helped create it. because it had been a long time actually since I had danced like that. And actually, he's choreographing a routine for us. I'm doing a tribute to Sammy in the not too distant future. So it's all tap, and it's the authentic steps Sammy does on stage. So, it's not like we're just doing a tap dance or a rendition of, semi-Sammy. It's like his exact choreography.
I love tap dancing.
Yeah,
I like the old salt and pepper or where they put on the floor and just spice it up and go. It's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And that's going to be at the Horizon too?
Oh, yeah. We switch out some routines, so, if you come 1 month and a couple months later, you'll maybe see something different. But I try to cover all bases. I always say if there's not something, immediately that you understand or you click into, it's like each of the impressions are, relatively quick. So there's something there for everybody, including young people and 90-year-olds,
Well, I'll tell you, the Judy Garland made me cry. I just teared up. And then the one where you're doing the tribute to talking about Patsy Cline and some of the country girls, that was dead on. I grew up in a country area, so I listened to country music a lot. And I thought, you could have been the radio.
Well, thank you.
And I thought, I was wondering if that's the characters that you really have are part of your soul, or is the whole family, everything part of your soul, or do you have ones you particularly like?
My daddy was from the South.
Oh.
And he never saw this show, unfortunately. He never saw me do any of my Southern girls. So doing all the Southern gals is kind of my personal tribute.
To your dad?
To my dad.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. I dedicate things to my mom, and she can't be here for when I do it, but I can tell her about it, and it's kind of nice. So, that you just said that gave me goosebumps. I think remembering family is a good thing.
I do too. If it were not for my family and the support that they gave me, I would have never been in entertainment. And I feel very fortunate to have grown up in a time when I was exposed to some really great teachers. I say I didn't have any singing lessons, but when it came to acting and the dramatics and the dancing, I studied with some of the best teachers around the world, actually.
What would you tell for a young rising star or beginner to go to college and learn acting? Or
one can do that. I went to independent schools. I studied with Salome Jens, who was a disciple of the Lee Strasberg thing. I mean, she studied alongside Marilyn Monroe and Robert De Niro. These were her peers, and she was my dramatics teacher. So I went to independent schools.
Well, we're down to our last minute. Would you like us to talk about your Horizon? The contact information, I think we have 1-800-683-8266 to get tickets to see Bethany Owens and the Woman of 1,001 Voices and Faces.
And my show that is produced by Jim Werlow. He's our producer, and you can also meet Jim. You come, to the theater, and we are there Fridays through Tuesdays, 8 p.m. nightly for the shows. It's an hour-and-a-half show. Well, definitely get some tickets because it's well worth your time. Bethany, thank you for being on Nevada Trails. Thank you, Mike. I so appreciate this. Well, you're welcome. So Michael Smith for Nevada Trails, and go see your show. You'll be glad you did. Thank you.
They say we're young and we don't know. Won't find out until you. I guess that's so we don't have a plot, but at least I'm sure of all the things we know. Woo! Here we go with the clap and babe. I got you, babe. Clap. I got you, babe. Excellent, now dance. They say our love won't pay the rent before it's earned. All our money is spent. I guess that's so we don't have a plot, but at least I'm sure of all the things we know. Woo! And babe, I got you, babe. I got you, babe. Woo! I got flowers in the spring. I got Mark. Woo! Oh, but he's wearing somebody else's wedding ring. And when I'm sad, he's a clown. Clown it out, baby. Clown it out. I got you.